What I'm going to do today is show you a little bit about ATP synthesis. And what you've got here is you've got a cell membrane. It's got transporter proteins. These are going to actually allow material to go through. This is a six-sided or six-carbon glucose molecule, which is the basic energy that all critters need. Autotrophs or plants actually produce this through a process of photosynthesis, and heterotrophs or consumers have to steal this from the plants or have to steal it from somebody who stole it from plants. So if we eat plant material, we get it firsthand and directly, and if we eat plant eaters, we actually get it secondhand or indirectly. But we've got phospholipids, the water-loving side, and the water-hating side. We have extracellular. This is outside, so this is a single-cell creature. This is like pond water. And if this is a multi-cell creature, this would be like blood or some other lympho material to bring in materials. For the cell, the four organic compounds. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to push play, and we're going to let the man who's actually in this shockwave, and you can see it's coming from John Wiley. He does a lot of biology shockwaves, probably some others also, and this is our introduction. So I'll let it play. I'm going to let him talk.
All cells need fuel to maintain homeostasis and perform work. The mechanism for harvesting energy from fuel molecules is called cell respiration. The goal of cell respiration is to generate the energy molecule ATP. To accomplish this, two different enzymatic reactions must take place. Energy is transferred from the fuel molecule to intermediate molecules called reduced coenzymes using an oxidation-reduction reaction.
Okay, this is what you'd be getting in a college course. A lot more than what we're going to talk about, but it will talk about some of the material we will, or I will say in the C section of Unit 5. So play it again.
The reduced coenzymes then transfer the energy to ATP in a separate reaction.
So clicking the ATP molecule.
Oxidation-reduction reactions are coupled reactions that use coenzymes to liberate and transfer energy from high-energy fuel molecules to reduced coenzymes. Oxidation reactions liberate energy in the form of hydrogen atoms from high-energy fuel molecules. Using a coenzyme like NAD+, reduction reactions transfer the liberated energy to the reduced coenzyme NADH. As a result of oxidation and reduction reactions working together, the reduced coenzymes now carry the energy that was once in the fuel molecule. The energy in reduced coenzymes is used to generate ATP molecules. The generation of ATP for use by cells involves four enzymatic pathways. These are glycolysis, formation of acetyl coenzyme A, the Krebs cycle, and the electron transport chain. Because glycolysis generates ATP in the absence of oxygen, it is considered an anaerobic pathway. To generate numerous ATP molecules, oxygen is needed. The remaining three pathways have varying concentrations of oxygen and are considered to be aerobic pathways.
So this is going to be glycolysis.
Glycolysis is the first step of cell respiration. It occurs in the cytosol. In the first steps of this pathway, a single 6-carbon molecule of glucose is phosphorylated using 2 ATP molecules and is broken into 2 phosphate molecules. Next, an oxidation-reduction reaction produces 2 reduced coenzymes and generates 4 ATP molecules from the smaller phosphate molecules.
So when we talk about glycolysis producing 2 ATPs, 2 go in, 4 come out, and 4 minus 2 would be the 2. But it also does come up with some high-energy coenzymes.
In addition, 2 energy-rich pyruvic acid molecules remain from the single glucose molecule.
There's the 2 C.
Glycolysis of a single glucose molecule produces 2 ATP molecules, 2 reduced coenzymes, and 2 pyruvic acid molecules. Many more molecules of ATP can be generated from the energy stored in the pyruvic acid molecules. However, this energy can only be harvested if the cell is well oxygenated. If there is inadequate oxygen, then the pyruvic acid will be converted into lactic acid.
And this is what you do if you've ever done exercise and you exercise faster than you can actually breathe to oxidize it. You get an anaerobic condition in your cells. This only happens in animal cells. Produces lactic acid, and this is why you actually warm down after exercise, because this could actually build up in your muscles and cause pain, either later on when you try to get up or next morning when you wake up and get out of bed.
If there is adequate oxygen, then the energy in the pyruvic acid will be further harvested in the mitochondrion.
And remember, not all cells have mitochondria. This has got to be a eukaryotic cell.
Cells that lack mitochondria, red blood cells for example, can generate only a few ATP molecules from glycolysis.
Before I go too much farther, remember mitochondria is one of the 2 organelles that actually have 2 membranes. It's got this blue membrane, which probably belonged to the bacteria that was endocytosed into the cell, and it's actually got this red outer membrane, which is probably the membrane that was the endocytosis.
Cell respiration is the formation of acetyl coenzyme A. Each of the 2 pyruvic acid molecules resulting from glycolysis is oxidized to produce a reduced coenzyme. In addition, each pyruvic acid molecule loses a carbon dioxide molecule to form an acetyl group. Each acetyl group will bind with coenzyme A to form acetyl coenzyme A. The Krebs cycle takes place in the mitochondrion, as does the rest of aerobic cell respiration. During the Krebs cycle, the glucose molecule is completely oxidized. The 4 carbon dioxide molecules produced during the Krebs cycle, combined with the 2 produced during the formation of acetyl coenzyme A, bring the total to 6 carbon dioxide molecules produced from each glucose molecule.
Which you exhale. It's carbon dioxide.
2 energy molecules are produced during the Krebs cycle. The remaining energy in the acetyl groups is transferred to reduced coenzymes. The primary function of the Krebs cycle is the production of many reduced coenzymes. It is in these molecules that most of the energy harvested from the original glucose molecule now resides.
Cell membrane again.
During the last step of aerobic cell respiration, the reduced coenzymes are used to generate ATP. This final pathway occurs in the mitochondrion and is known as the electron transport chain. When the reduced coenzymes are oxidized, the energy is used to pump hydrogen ions across the inner mitochondrial membrane.
Hydrogen pump requires energy.
Water is formed from this step as the hydrogen atoms are released and combined with oxygen.
And there's the water from cellular respiration.
Hydrogen ions are accumulated and form a concentration gradient between the inner membrane and the matrix of the mitochondrion. The concentration of hydrogen ions provides the force to produce ATP molecules. As the hydrogen ions diffuse down their gradient across the membrane, they pass through a protein that synthesizes ATP. This process of producing ATP using the movement of the hydrogen ion gradient is known as chemiosmosis. The goal of cell respiration is to harvest energy from fuel molecules to produce ATP. In turn, the energy in ATP is used by the cell to perform its work.
38 ATPs for this whole process. From a single glucose.
Other products of cell respiration include the production of water and 6 carbon dioxide molecules.
And of course, you can see that's the maximum. Some cells are not as efficient. That could be age. It could actually be the way the cell actually needs energy. Okay, and the last one I want to show you is the actual motion of that protein pump and the gradient, hydrogen ion gradient, and the formation of protein synthesis. And you can see we have the hydrogens going through. This is a side view. Here's the ATP, ADP. So what happens is ADP comes in. There's another phosphorus. This is a lock and key. It's an enzyme. Actually allows this hydrogen synthesis to occur. Hydrogens go in, spin this off. Here goes another dehydrogen synthesis. Hydrogen comes in, spins. Here comes another, and it just keeps doing this over and over. This is the ATP synthesis that's actually is in that the ATP synthase, which is actually in the cell membrane. Okay, that's what I want to talk about today, and thank you.